Third time lucky. Um, Welcome to today's video. In today's video, we are going to take a deep dive into Magic Weekend, go through all the games, what I thought, um, just all of the controversy and each team's performance. Really, we're going to take a big deep dive into that. Um, Now, I do just want to quickly touch on something because it is rugby related. So, on the 31st of May 2025, I will be doing a 12-hour charity live stream for the MND Association. Now, the reason I'm doing that is to mark the 1 year anniversary of the passing of Rob Burrow. So, I'm going to be starting it at 10 a.m. It's going to be going all the way up until 10 p.m. Now, any donation whatsoever that goes on the Just Giving page automatically enters you in for a raffle. Now, the winners of that prize of the raffle is going to be Mikey Lewis's boots. We've got Davy Litton's boots. We've got Connor Featherstone with a signed Featherstone jersey, as well as his boots. We've got something being sent by Junior and Sember, and you will also have the opportunity to win a fully decked out custom built gaming PC. And again, any donation whatsoever will put you into that draw automatically. All I would say is please, if you're going to donate, leave your full name on the donation so that your name can be taken into the draw, and then the winners will be drawn live on that stream on the 31st of May using a random nail wheel. Okay? Again, it's just to celebrate the life of Rob Burrow because, as people know, there is no current cure for motor neuron disease, and it affects so many different families over the country. There's different types of motor neuron disease. Some of them work really, really quickly. Some of them don't work as quickly, and people get more time to say the goodbyes. Now, in Rob Burrow's case, it was quite a fast demise, and he eventually did pass away on the 2nd of June 2024. So the closest day that I could get to it, where it was a weekend, because most people don't work on weekends, was the 31st of May. All donations given will be going straight to Motor Neuron Disease Association. Any gifts that I get on TikTok, because the live stream is going to be happening on TikTok and Twitch, my handle is exactly the same as it is on YouTube, so it's iCallum10i with no spaces. If anybody gives any gifts or subscribes or any monetary value, will also be donated to the Just Giving page. Okay? Now, without further ado, let's get into the games. So we started the weekend off with Lee versus Catalans. And to be fair, the first half, I thought we was in for a really, really good game. And it was a good game, don't get me wrong. Catalans played really well in the first half. They was moving the ball. And you just thought Lee looked a little bit lackluster. Didn't really know what to do. Didn't really know how to handle the Catalan Dragons. And they went in at half time. And it's as if they basically came out the opposite team. Catalans just completely switched off in that second half, and Lee ran rampant in the second half. That's probably the best performance Lee have had in the second half of a game all season, and it ended up paying off because it did win 26-24 overall. So, yeah, it definitely worked out in their favour, let's be honest. Again, overall, it was a good game in terms of points scored. But if both teams had played to the best of the capabilities for the full 80 minutes, I think it would have been an even better game. But overall, yeah, it was a cracking way to start the weekend. Now, after that, we went on to Hull KR versus Salford Red Devils. Now, we always knew it was going to go one way. And that's no offence to Salford. Like, I really do feel for Salford fans, for Salford players, Salford staff, just everybody that is involved with Salford at the moment. I feel really sorry for them. So, again, we knew which way it was going to go. Obviously, Rovers were playing with a few injuries, so we didn't have any Burgess, we didn't have any Davis, Mickey Max out, Reece Martin still not back. Um, so we was rotating the squad, and we gave a few minutes to the youngsters. You had Noah Booth, who had an absolutely outstanding game out on that right wing, got his try, which, by the way, was a cracking try. Um, Salford played okay. It wasn't as if they just laid down and let it all happen. Rovers were moving the ball really well. Um, Obviously, there was nearly more. There was a couple of tries that were disallowed. I just felt overall it was a really good game from both teams. The scoreline, yeah, was 54-0, but that doesn't take away from the effort Salford put in. Salford played well. There was moving the ball well. There was defending okay, but Rovers just outplayed them, outclassed them, outsmarted them, and just again the passes that were being made, the offloads, the dummy runs, there was just everything clicked the way it was supposed to click. There were certain tries that happened, and it's like they were straight off the training ground. It was basically a training exercise for Rovers, let's be honest, but anybody that plays Salford would have had that same thing. Now, we went into one of the bars after the game, and I was speaking to a Salford fan, and that Salford fan turned round and said, "This is your year, you're going to win the Challenge Cup, you deserve to win the Challenge Cup." And I thought, for a team that's just been pumped 54-0, the fans are so down to earth, they're so honest. You don't get many fans where the team would just get beat 54-0, and after the game they'd be like, "Do you know what, you're playing really well, you really deserve this, you're winning the Challenge Cup." So credit to Salford, who have probably got one of the most loyal fan bases in the league, because they're just showing now, through the hardest times, they've still got plenty of fans behind them that are cheering them all the way, that are trying to get the team to win. You can't grumble at it. Like, honestly, Salford fans are so good, it's unbelievable. But yeah, so that finished Hull KR 54, Salford 0. We then had Saints versus Rhinos. Now, again, I did miss parts of this because I was on the train back from Newcastle to Hull. However, I have watched the replays. Leeds are just a different team this season. Leeds are completely different this season, especially considering they also have injuries. They just dismantled Saints. Saints have looked good this year, and I do think they'll be alright. I still think they're going to make the playoffs. But they have to get some consistency. They really have to get some consistency. That's why Leeds are better this season than Saints, is they're more consistent. You've got Jake Connor, which I cannot stand Jake Connor, by the way, but you've got Jake Connor, who's on the form of his life, playing the best rugby he's played since he was an NFC shirt, really. He's finally been allowed to play his game, and he's dictating games with his passing, his kicking, his running. Like, he's the epitome of the Leeds Rhinos attack. You've got Hanley, who's playing incredible at the moment. You've got so many different individual players that are gelling together, and that's maybe what wasn't clicking for Leeds last year. They just didn't quite gel. They didn't have the experience. They didn't have... Because last year they had a fairly young team that they was playing pretty much every week, barring the odd few names. Out of the 13, the main core really was youngsters. But this season, they've recruited really well, and I just think they look absolutely phenomenal, to be honest. Saints, on the other hand, again, you've got that inconsistency. You've got Sailor, who is a good player, don't get me wrong, but he's not consistent with it. He's really, really good one game against a poor opposition, but it's games like this where they play Rhinos, and he really does get found out. Has he got what it takes to take Saints where they need to be in the bigger games? Because it's all well and good looking really good as an halfback playing against poor teams, but when it matters against the bigger teams and the teams that can cause you issues and the teams that are actually a good team, he's non-existent, and it showed. Wellesby is having a cracking season, and I feel like half the time it's him carrying the team. Obviously, last year he had a really bad year, whereas this year he's come kicking and screaming, and he's having a really good year. But he needs the 12 others around him to back him up and put some good form in and get some consistency going. So yeah, that finished St Helens 4, Leeds 17. Now, we move on to Giants versus Hull FC. And I do just want to quickly say, I seen some Hull FC fans in the bar after the Rovers game. And they turned around and was like, oh, what was the score? And I said it was 54-0. So they said, oh, it was always going to be like that. You're against Salford. It's going to be the same with us at Huddersfield tomorrow. How did that go for you? You know you are. How did that go for you? So, we have Giants versus FC. Ooh. What a game, by the way. However, there's some yellow cards. I just want to point it out, right? Yellow cards and red cards, just fuck off. Keep them in your pocket. Because you're ruining the game. You're giving yellows that aren't yellows, and you're giving reds that aren't reds. And you're giving reds because you've just given somebody else a red. And you know that you shouldn't have given the other person a red, so you've just given another one for the sake of giving it. Same with yellow cards. Like, it's too frequent. You're making the game go soft. It's a contact sport, okay? I can understand if the intent is there. If the intent is there, then by all means, get your cards out. But if it's just a clash, contesting for a ball, or contesting for a challenge, just fuck off. Yeah. Again, that's FC's issue, is consistency. I think the FC players already had it in their head before they even started the 80 minutes that it was going to be a walk in the park and it was going to have a really good game. And it was going to be easy because Giants just bowed down. And they got caught out very, very quickly. How good is Flanagan, by the way? That Flanagan is the future of rugby league. He is absolutely incredible. But, yeah, that full game was very back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, we seen it against Rovers all 3 times. We seen it when they played Wigan. They can move the ball very, very well, can FC. They can play attractive rugby. And they always, this season, one thing that I've always praised them for is the fact that they have that never give up attitude. Where was that? That all went out of the window against bottom of the league Giants, who was yet to get a win. Credit to Giants, they've been getting better every week, but they still hadn't got that first win under the belt. Now, ironically, in typical FC fashion, Giants have been given the first win of the season. So, you have to give credit where credit's due. You've got the likes of Adam Swift, who had a cracking game. You've got the likes of Flanagan, who had a cracking game. Now, I thought Burgess was alright as well, to be fair, but you've got to point out how unlucky Giants have been with injuries. Look at that. They signed Niall Levels for us. He broke his foot on his debut. So that's him out for the rest of the season. So, it's all well and good saying, oh yeah, they just backed down, but they played outstanding against SC. Defensively, they was throwing everything at it, and I mean everything. So even though it was a low-scoring game, I feel like the scoreline didn't do the game justice. But I have to say the better team won on the day, and that's not me being biased. Before any UFC fans come at me, we then came on to the penultimate game of the round, which was Wire versus Wigan. Jesus. Let's unravel this one. This was the game of the week for me. It had to be the game of the week. We all know how dangerous Wigan are. You can't make any mistakes against Wigan because they will punish you. On the flip side, you've got Wire with Captain George Williams out long term, Sneed out long term with a broken eye socket, and Leon Hayes still injured. So you are then playing Ratchford and Leyland in the halves. And honestly, you wouldn't have even noticed that they was playing with injuries. Missing the likes of Sneed, missing the likes of Williams, missing the likes of Hayes. You wouldn't have thought it because they played absolutely unbelievably. And at one point, I thought it was going to go Wire's way. Wigan, on the other hand, what can I say about Wigan? You've got Super Bevan French, who is by far the best player in the league. He is magical, and he's just a joy to watch. He can start from completely stood still, get to full speed in less than 3 seconds, manage to stop, turn, and bolt it in the other direction like that. He's just so difficult to defend against. His rugby IQ is next to none. The way that he kicks and runs, like kick it to his left and bend his run to the right, round all the players, because he's got the speed to do it. You've then got Jai Field, who is on the form of his absolute life at the moment, and I even think he's the top scorer in the league this season. Again, his speed, his awareness, his mentality. Him and Bevan French have this link, and they know exactly where each other is at all times, and they also know where they're going to be at certain times. And it's so difficult to defend against. Sometimes you have to sit back and just go, do you know what? Fair play. That was a cracking piece of play. So it's always going to be difficult against the likes of Wigan. You've got Junior and Semba, who, I'm not being funny, I have seen smaller buildings than that man. He is like a building on legs. He just doesn't stop. He's relentless. And he's so young, and he's got so much potential behind him. And I'd say still, right now, he's probably one of the best players in the league. Like, it's incredible what that man can do on and off the ball. So it was always going to be where we thought Wigan was going to run away with it, especially with the form that Wire have been on as well. Again, they've got that inconsistency. They're not sitting where they want to be in the league. However, Warrington Wolves threw absolutely everything and the kitchen sink at Wigan. And I thought they got really, really unlucky, to be honest, because it finished 22 points to Wigan, 20 to Wire. But you cannot take away the effort. The Wire lads did not stop until the hooter rang on the 80th minute. I think they made a couple of mistakes, couple of penalties, and the game's a different game. But what a game that was. That was the game of the weekend. And then we come on to the final match, which was Castleford versus Trinity. Now, again, Castleford have been another one of them teams that haven't been great this season. They have been consistent, but they've been consistently fucking shit. Not gonna lie. Wakefield, you look at the form table, it tells you everything that you need to know. Wakefield are stronger away from home than they are at home. I think they've only won one game at home this season. All of their other wins have come away from home. Now, we knew Wakefield was going to win. It was just always going to be Wakefield's day. The players that they've got and the way that they move the ball, I think they're a very, very underrated team. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're in top four, top five by the end of the year. Because they're picking up that form, they're picking up that experience, the players are starting to gel. You've got Mike McMeekin, who's getting better every week. You've got Tom Johnston getting better every week. Obviously, Matty Staunton was playing really well. He's just picked up the injury. That's just to name a few of the players. And they're looking really, really, really good. And I'm all here for it. I really am. I love to see it. To play attractive rugby, Castleford need to get the shit together, and they need to get the shit together now, to be quite frankly honest. Don't know what they need to do, but something needs to go behind the scenes, because when you watch Castleford, it's a bit boring. They haven't got that flair, they haven't got that spark, they're not always looking for the offload like it's last tackle every tackle. They're not defending very well. They're not. Do you know what I mean? They're not playing for each other. It's as if they're putting the jersey on, and all they're bothered about is getting a wage at the end of the month. And I just think it's grim. You've got Salford, who are going through the trouble that they are going through, and they're more entertaining to watch than Castleford. And it's not because of the points that they're conceding. It's watching the team show up for each other. It's watching the team doing everything that they physically can to stop that ball going over. Whereas you don't feel like that when you're watching Castleford. And I really like Castleford, and I feel for them because the fans are absolutely incredible. They've got one of the best fan bases in the league. And I think they deserve more from the boys that are putting the jersey on every week, playing on that pitch. Games have to be closer than 32-8 against Wakefield. I'm sorry, but they do. That's not taking anything away from Wakefield, because Wakefield are an unbelievable team, and I still think they're very underrated. I've said that. But for me, Castleford have to pull their shit together and start turning up for Danny Maguire, because they're making Danny Maguire look like an absolute mug at the moment, and show up for the boy next to you. Work together. Work as a team. I'm not seeing that team unit in the squad at the moment. But let me know what you think down in the comment section below. I will also leave a link to my donation page, which is a Just Giving page for the MND Association. Any donation whatsoever, like I said, will put you in with a chance of winning a signed Featherstone jersey from Connor Wynn. You'll get the opportunity to win Mikey Luce's boots, Davy Litton's boots, something from Junior and Sember, and finally a custom built gaming PC. So again, make sure if you're going to donate, you need to leave your full name on the donation, and then winners will be drawn on the day. Other than that, I hope you have a beautiful day. Like, subscribe if you're not already. Peace.